Welcome to Unspoken Conversations. Your words have power. Together, we will have a multi-generational conversation on topics that are considered taboo, risky, controversial, but most of all, thought-provoking. Welcome to Unspoken Conversations. Your words have power. Together, we will have a multi-generational conversation on topics that are considered taboo, risky, controversial, but most of all, thought-provoking. Welcome to Unspoken Conversations. Your words have power. Together, we will have a multi-generational conversation on topics that are considered taboo, risky, controversial, but most of all, thought-provoking. Welcome to Unspoken Conversations. Your words have power. Together, we will have a multi-generational conversation on topics that are considered taboo, risky, controversial, but most of all, thought-provoking. Welcome to Unspoken Conversations. Your words have power. Together, we will have a multi-generational conversation on topics that are considered taboo, risky, controversial, but most of all, thought-provoking. Welcome to Unspoken Conversations. Your words have power. Together, we will have a multi-generational conversation on topics that are considered taboo, risky, controversial, but most of all, thought-provoking. Welcome to Unspoken Conversations. Your words have power. Together, we will have a multi-generational conversation on topics that are considered taboo, risky, controversial, but most of all, thought-provoking.
I'm gonna be right back.
Oh, if you're like, don't forget it.
Okay.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, Anthony.
Hi. How you doing?
I am doing awesome. Awesome. Glad
Thanks.
you was able to get in.
Me too.
Good evening, family. Thank you all for joining in tonight for tonight's conversation. What is Black excellence? So yes, you have not seen myself and Brandon for just a little bit over a month. March was my birthday month, so I decided to go on a mini hiatus, so to speak. And during that time, my husband gave me some gifts for my platform. So the very first one he gave me was my backdrop that says, "Unspoken conversations, your words have power." And then he surprised me with an additional gift. And so guess what, y'all? I got merch. So he got me t-shirt made. So yeah, we about to have merchandise. Hey, we doing big things. So super excited about that. Gonna get ready to get some business cards made. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. As for Brandon, Brandon he just moved, so he's still in the process of getting situated. So he will not be able to join us this evening, but he is with us in spirit, and he will be back eventually soon as he gets situated. Meanwhile, I have a few guests. So one of my guests, unfortunately, she may or may not join us. She is in the middle of a toothache, poor baby. And she said every time she talks, it hurts. And so, yeah, that's going to make for quite a difficult conversation. And then our other guest is they're en route. They're kind of stuck in traffic. They're stuck in that Atlanta traffic. So look, you know what that looks like. But he's almost home. So we expect him to be joining us roughly about 10 minutes or so. And then my other guest that you can see on screen is look, he is a second generation cousin. His mother is my first cousin. And so he is my second cousin. But this is Anthony. I'm super, super excited to have him join us because Anthony, how old are you again?
14.
Yes. So I'm excited about the perspective that Anthony is going to bring to the table because he will be, I believe he actually will be the youngest guest that we've had on. But he he can articulate himself very well. So I'm sure that the questions that are going to come up, he will definitely be able to answer and just give us an idea of what his generation, what they perceive or understand that what Black excellence is. And so, for this conversation, there is no right or wrong answer. We do realize that Black excellence looks different to everybody. Some may feel like Black excellence is, encompasses wealth. Some people may consider it to be legacy. Some people may even go so far as to consider it to just simply be just a mindset. So again, there is no right or wrong answer to this question, but we want to talk about it to maybe get a better understanding, possibly get a general overall consensus of what Black excellence is. Maybe get some questions answered, or hey, get some takeaways that we will want to go and maybe do some additional research on for ourselves. So anyway, with that being said, of course, we also have our phone line. So feel free to call in and be live on the air with us with either your question, comment, or concern. We are live on Facebook as well as YouTube. So if you have not already subscribed and liked and shared, I would like you to do all three of those things. Definitely get the word out and let people know what we're doing over here. We just having casual conversations about things that impact our communities, and we're getting multi perspectives from various generations. So, with that being said, now I know I love my minty thing, so I do have a minty. I'm not going to put it up just yet. I'm going to give a few people a little bit more time to get in before I share it. Also, I do have two videos that I want to share that will lend to this conversation. And so we just bear with us just a couple of more minutes. I do want to make the conversation worth while. So we definitely want to have more people hop on and engage us before we get into the thick of it. But Anthony, how's
Yes.
it going?
It's
So
good. It's
Anthony, you tired?
a little
You said
bit,
you
but
tired?
I could push through.
Look, but I'm right there with you. I'm tired too. I need a nap in the worst kind of way. So how's your day been?
Well, it's been good. It's been tiresome. Well, not tiresome. It's been eventful because of two little
Oh,
children that have been in this household. But
oh, oh, you've been running you ragged. They've been getting on your nerves.
yes, many times, many times.
Oh, All right. So you remember when I asked you to join in this discussion, and I told, and your mom told you what the topic was. She said Black excellence. What was the first thing that came to your mind?
Entrepreneurship and black ownership.
I like it. Really, that's what first came to your mind when Michelle asked that question.
I had to think about it at first, but then
Hmm.
that's what mostly came to mind.
Sweet, sweet. I like it. That's pretty good. So then, so you decided, okay, that's what Black excellence means to you. So then, what did you do after that? Like in terms of like research, and like did you go talk to people? You know, talk to your dad. To family members. What did you do to expand on that idea of what Black excellence is?
Well, what I really did was I mostly mostly thought about like how Barack Obama and like how he became the first black president like in the United States, and
Mhm.
I'm thinking like, oh wow, that's like a big improvement because
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
our first black person to run for president was Shirley Chisholm. So like from
Mhm.
Shirley Chisholm to not from to like 2018, we had
Mhm.
like our first black president, and that was really like cool to me because at first black
Mhm.
people we couldn't really amount to anything
Mhm.
because of the cars that we were given, and now
Mm.
because of this, like we were able to like strive and like push forward. Now we had our first black president.
Mhm. Mhm. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, like, in your opinion, um, the fact that a Black person was able to achieve the office of U.S. president, in your opinion, you feel like that is an indication of Black excellence.
Yes.
That's fair. That's fair. Um I think I think for um like prior generations to us, like let's say like my mom, um my grandmother, maybe my great grandmother. I would even, because like my dad is 96, so I'm sure it was a big deal to him. But I feel like generations prior to ours, and maybe some in my generation, I feel like that was a really big deal to them, because when you think about those generations, they're up from well, so like my dad, he told me he used to pick cotton. So if you think about, so my dad was born in 1928. um what would be your great grandma, she was also born in 1928. So the two of them, they're a full generation up from slavery. But still, my dad was in South Carolina picking cotton. My grandmother, your great grandmother, she wasn't, but still, um he's still alive. And so when you think about it, I'm sure what he thinks about it, in 1928, all the way, from 1928 into the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the likelihood of a black person, the likelihood of a black person becoming president was kind of, look, I don't even, nobody was even entertaining that thought. Let me welcome Chance. Oh, my love. I'm so happy you joining us. So listen, everybody, I'm going to be reading Chance's comments. First of all, let me just say I appreciate you, because I know you in a world of pain. But see, that's this what love look like. So I appreciate it. So she's going to type things in, and I'm going to make sure that I read, and this look about as good as it's gonna get in terms of having her engagement. Bottom line, I just appreciate the fact that she pressing through, despite the fact that she's in pain. But Chance says, for the older generations that experience segregation, that was heavy, and discrimination, it was a literal dream. So you talking about in terms of being able to realize or be able to see a black man or a black person period become president was is a literal dream that eventually was realized. I agree. Like I said, I think that it really depends on a generation. So now let's say you take me. I will say that initially I was happy. So I think for me, when I think about my generation, I think for me, I was I was happy with the idea of that being of that becoming a reality. The reason why I say it like that is because depending on your understanding of this country that we live in, yeah, that that's a whole nother discussion about this, this black man becoming president. That's a discussion we're not going to have tonight. However, our other guest who was on their way, he got some very specific feelings about that. But I think I agree, Anthony, that the realization of that suggests black excellence. Um Chance, your what would you say your idea is of black excellence? And so while Chance's while she's typing in her comment, we will continue our discussion. So I do see we have three viewers. I know my that number gets a little skewed because I got people watching on both YouTube and Facebook. And so whether you're on whichever platform you're on, welcome. We appreciate you. Feel free to engage us in this conversation. You can either call in or you can type in your comments. We are monitoring the comment screen. Carlotta, thank you so much, love, for joining us. Like I said, I do have a mentee that I want to share with the group. I'm going to actually wait until our other guest comes in so that he too will have the benefit of engaging in that part of the conversation. And voila, I spoke him right on up.
Hey,
Well, hello, sir. Look at you. And you would come to the table with your kufi on, huh? I see you, black man. So we were waiting for you. I knew you was on your way. I didn't want to share my little minty thing until you got here, but we were just talking about when I asked Anthony and Chance to join me in this discussion, and I asked him about black excellence. What did that look like for them? And so Anthony said one of the things that it represented for him is the realization of a black man becoming president. And so, yeah, I know we had a conversation about that earlier. Don't go there. don't do it. That's a conversation for a whole nother day. Hey Felicia, but that I think that's fair, and I don't think that it should be discounted because that's his generation.
right.
That is the perception that not saying that he speaks for his entire generation, but that is his perception and possibly others, that wow, we were able to get a black man was finally made president. As he gets older, that reality is going to change. He will develop better understanding as to what actually happens. But for right now, it's something, because look. We will be honest in saying a lot of our school systems, they not really trying to get our kids to aspire to be nothing but athletes. So that that says something for what they're placing value in. So Chance said that to me, Black excellence is the ability to perceive or persevere. Persevere, persevere through anything, breaking through generational trauma and barriers. My she said my keyboard isn't letting me type. I'm going to jump on my laptop. Okay, love. But I like that. She said Black excellence is the ability to persevere through anything, breaking through generational trauma and barriers. Yes, I like that. So remember I said earlier that Black excellence can also be a mindset.
Right. I believe it is a mindset.
Mm-hmm. So we lost Anthony. I'm sure he'll be back shortly. So you agree with that, Torian?
Yes.
Can I just call you Tori? Because I'm not used to calling you Torian.
Yeah, you can call me Torian. Tori.
Tori. Look, founder of Harlem Lights Inc. Sir, yes, okay, thank you. But yeah, Tori, you wanted to elaborate on that?
Yeah. Black excellence to me is first, you have to know not where you as an individual, but where your people came from.
I agree.
We were kings. So I would kind of dispel the whole, you know, they quote unquote let us be a president.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were kings. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
First
Sorry for that.
Yeah, that's okay.
you have
Welcome
to
back.
you have to know where you came from. And we came from royalty. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We came from everything that is pure, even though they say
Mm-hmm.
we're black and they're white, and white is pure and black is dark. That's just
Mm-hmm.
that they gave us. So we were first. So that
Right.
means if we were first, that means that we were excellent first.
Mm-hmm.
We were excellent.
Mm-hmm.
We were good first. We were bad first. We was everything first. You know what I mean? So black
Mm-hmm.
mind state, and to me, it's like she said, it's not conforming to the status quo that they put us,
Right.
and being able to rise above that, and having the state of mind to be able to rise above that, and to want to rise
Mm-hmm.
above that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Chance said we are kings and queens. Our people just don't understand that because we were conditioned to think otherwise.
Right, right.
Here, 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 here. So for the audience, let me first say because uh this so my platform and my channel is public, and so anybody and everybody can view these videos. So um my goal is always to educate. My goal is not to put any particular groups down. My goal is not necessarily to be trying to hold anybody accountable. That is not my job. However, my goal is to make sure that we those who choose to have the conversation, those who desire to have the conversation, that you educate yourselves, and that you start to have this dialogue, that we start here, that you start to have this dialogue with other people, in other circles and other arenas. There, at the end of the day, we technically, for all intents and purposes, we don't know each other, period. Um and so again, hopefully nobody gets offended. If you do get offended, I sincerely apologize. That is absolutely not the goal. To say that we are kings and queens takes nothing away from nobody else. It is what it is. Facts is facts. So, with that being said, now that I have roughly about 6 or 7 people, potentially more, because again, it's on we're on 2 platforms. I want to go ahead and share my mentee. So again, for those who are new to the channel, new to the live, periodically I share a mentee. So now if you are viewing us on let's say your cell phone, you probably gonna have a little difficulty being able to respond to the mentee at the same time. If you're on some other device, then you shouldn't have any problem. But I like to do these periodically because I like to engage my audience and just get a feel for what other people think. So, with that being said, I'm going to share this mentee, and the question is: when you think of Black excellence, what words come to mind? So you can see right here that the number is 8302-211. You're going to go to menti.com and you're going to put this code in. And as you all do that, we'll be able to see what words come up, that people, when they think about Black excellence, what does that translate to them? So feel free to engage and see what kind of words come up.
What is a mentee?
But when you go to menti.com, you put that code in 8302, yes, 2111, and allow you to put in different words.
Mentee.com.
And this is for us. This is anybody who wants to add some words. I believe it'll give you up to 3 words.
Mentee is MIT. I mean MIN.
MENTI.com.
Okay.
So I see royalty, legacy, power, prestige.
Give me the T, if you don't mind. Give me the code one more time.
8302-2111.
Okay.
Opportunity, yes. I like that.
Hello?
Community, freedom. Nice. All right, give me everybody one more minute. Success. Yep. Togetherness. Yes. I like that. Empowerment. Yes. So clearly, clearly we all, okay, Rob says resilience. Yes, sir. Um, clearly we all see Black excellence as being something being different to each of us. So I will say I'm gonna share another video now. Um, know if everybody remembers the inauguration of um, President Joe Biden, and you remember if you should remember Amanda Gorman and her poem. Now I love her poem, um, um, and in my personal opinion, I felt like her poem spoke to Black excellence on another level. Like it had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with things, tangible things, but it had everything to do with who you are at your core. And so for me, that's when I think about Black excellence. I do think about it from the perspective that it's a mindset, and I do feel like it Black excellence is something that resonates from your core. Who are you? Who are you at your core? So I just want to share really quick. We won't listen to the whole poem, but just to give us some, some further context as to um, what we think Black excellence is.
We've braved the
Here's
belly
my
of the beast. We've
volume.
learned that quiet
Go
isn't
back.
always peace.
Let's
And the
see.
norms and notions
Stop
of what
sharing.
just
Need
is
to.
isn't.
Oh, this is the first time. Look at there. Any other time I shared a video, they didn't give me no hard time. This is the first time that I've shared the video, and it didn't let me. It didn't give me the option. It didn't give me the option for my volume. So look at there. They're trying to block it, but we gonna work it out. Now, let's see. Anthony, have you heard this poem before? Yeah.
I don't think I have.
No.
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, so it says it does say share tab audio. Share. I can hear. And y'all can't hear on your side.
Another,
right?
we seek harm to
Look
none
at there.
and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say
You say you can't hear it, right?
Is true.
Look at
That
there.
even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we
Y'all hear her?
we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat.
Now, I mean, if y'all can hear, then that's cool.
Never
Because
again
I heard it, but
division. Scripture tells us
yeah,
to envision that
I know
everyone
I
shall
can't
sit
hear it on
under
my
their
side.
own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is step into and how we pair it. We've seen a force that would would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy.
Not sure why that's
In this effort,
yeah.
very nearly
Not sure why that's
succeeded.
not working, but look,
But while
that's all right.
democracy
Oh,
can
but
be
Felicia says she can hear it.
delayed,
Okay.
it can never
Who means?
be permanently
I can't
defeated.
hear it. Well, I'm not understanding it. All right. Who else said they can
In
hear
this
it?
truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us.
So,
this is the era of just
Chance
redemption.
said
We
she
feared
heard it
act
when she
into
gave it. And she
deception.
said,
We did not feel
honestly, I
prepared
wasn't
to
really
be the
hearing it.
heirs of
So when you say you
such a
really wasn't hearing, are you
terrifying
suggesting that
hour, but
you
within
wasn't
it we
feeling it?
found
The
the
poem,
power
y'all?
to author a new chapter,
you
to
hear your
offer
snow
hope
gear?
and laughter to ourselves. So while
And
once we asked, how could we
and look,
possibly
and I
prevail
appreciate
over
that. So
catastrophe?
now, because you said that, I'm gonna
Now
need you to
we
go ahead
assert,
and say
how could
and share with
catastrophe
us why you wasn't
possibly prevail
really
over
hearing it.
us? We will not
'Cause, I
march
mean,
back
like I
to
said, honestly,
what was,
I
but
liked it,
move to
but you
what
know,
shall
that's
be
me.
a country that is bruised but
And
whole,
on this
benevolent
platform,
but
we
bold,
are
fierce
all in for
and free. We will not be
opposing
turned
opposite
around or
views, you know,
interrupted
likes,
by
dislikes. Look,
intimidation, because we
your
know our
your feeling,
inaction
your
and
perspective about a
inertia will
thing
be the
is
inheritance of the next generation. Our
is totally
blunders
yours. But
become
I would
their
definitely
burdens.
like to
But one
hear
thing, if we
your
merge
perspective
mercy
as to
with
why
might
you
and
just want
might
hearing it.
with right,
And
then
so, Anthony,
love
can you hear it?
becomes our
I can hear it, but
legacy
it's
and will
laggy.
change
It's a little
our
laggy.
children's
Yeah,
birthright.
a
So
little
let
tiny
us
bit like.
leave behind a
Oh, it's
country better than
I
one
think that
we
is
were left with.
so
Every breath from my bronze pounded chest, we
because
will raise this
yeah,
wounded
I
world
don't listen to
into a
videos on here
wondrous
before and
one.
didn't
We
have
will
this problem.
rise
But
from the
I know exactly what it is.
rise from the windswept northeast, where
I
our
know why it's doing
forefathers
that.
first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake rim
Because
cities of the
StreamYard
Midwestern
wants me to
states.
use
We will
multiple
rise
screens.
from the
I was
sun-baked
trying to get
south. We
away
will
with not
rebuild,
using multiple screens.
reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse
Okay.
and beautiful, will emerge battered.
So maybe
beautiful when day
if
comes, we step
so
out
Carlotta
the
says she
shade
can't hear good with talking over it. So I'm going to mute everybody and see if
flame and
if
unafraid.
that
The new
helps.
dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.
All right. So yeah, I apologize. It's over. It's finished now. But Chance, so let me see what you said. So I said I wanna hear your oh God, what's after I muted y'all? I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. But Chance, tell please share why what you didn't like about what you said, Tori.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Everybody was muted.
Okay, I
What
was
did you
saying
say?
I was saying that we were still muted.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, the chance to share. Can you share with us why? Okay, so she said the poem itself was beautifully written, and executed. However, I think there was an agenda behind it. Interesting. Okay. And what you think that agenda was? Hmm. I, look, I know who your daddy is, so I can just imagine. But I much rather hear your take on what you think the agenda was. And let me see. Let me close. So now this other video, while she's responding, this other video, I'm gonna really need us to be able to hear that one. So, all right. Hmm. So Chance said, "Why would the next president allow a black woman to go before the country?"
Mm, I
Hmm.
understand what she said.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely understand what she's saying.
So
Might have been
while she's typing, well, so while she's typing, you wanna comment,
me.
Tori? Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I understand what she means, that there may have been an agenda behind it. It's like to um, persuade black people to, to go along with his views and his arguments and
Mm-hmm.
his side. Yeah, I kind of get that. It's kind of like what was the why was it necessary for that moment, for his moment, a speech about us? Why? Yeah, I see it. It wasn't behind that. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, I think uh what and she said by a black woman.
Right.
So I think not to jump off into a
Yeah,
political hold on.
yeah,
Go ahead.
you're in the queue right
I
now.
mean Anthony, mute
Oh, sorry,
yourself.
sorry.
Um to I said not I don't want not to get into like a political discussion, but I I understand. I also understand why Chance would say what she said, and um, I think about there was a lot of strategic what I would consider to be so called strategic moves made with the selection of a lot of certain people, and
Mm,
uh, on its surface, you want one would want to celebrate, hey, we're getting opportunities, for this and that. He selected a black woman to be his running mate, who eventually ended up being, our first female black vice president. Um, think about his judicial appointees and so on and so forth. And depending on the lens in which you are looking at this country in, you would not be impressed. Like it was, you would basically be like, look, we're not falling for the okie doke, because there in fact wasn't there was an agenda behind it. It's like, it's again like what I had said, we had said having a conversation, we had said before, uh just because we had a black president does not necessarily mean that we have officially arrived. um Jan says, uh The world was built on politics. It always comes back to politics. I agree. So now, so I like the fact that Chance is bringing up this other this other notion about what what we think Black excellence is, and I feel like Tori is kind of along the same lines as what what you shared with me and what we talked about. But so now Anthony, so
Can I
again, there is no. mm, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Tori.
say something? One of the words was resilience, right?
Hmm.
And that right
Right.
there, viewing it from a different standpoint, because we also um we've been through,
Hmm.
or to situations of poverty and stuff like that, and to overcome that, because a certain group put into an impoverished situation might come
Yeah.
home and kill themselves and kill the whole family. They can't deal with being fired,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
can,
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
can, we got to be at the bottom. We strive, we'll go from there. But there's another group who
Mm-hmm.
can't take that, and that's a
Yeah.
form of Black strength as well. The strength that we have
Mm-hmm.
as a
I
people.
like that. Yep,
Yeah,
I agree. I like that. Yeah, and right, and so that's the again that goes back to what we are saying, right? That Black excellence, is a mindset. So what I was getting ready to ask Anthony, because Anthony started this conversation, he was saying that for him, now mind you, for those who missed it, Anthony is 14 years old, so he does not he doesn't have the benefit of seeing, he doesn't have the benefit of some of our own personal experiences in this world. He is still impressionable. He is still learning. So when we engage him in this conversation, how he sees Black excellence should absolutely not be discredited, because at the end of the day, he's looking at it through the lens of a 14-year-old who still has a whole lifetime to live. Um, Again, because like we said earlier, in some of our school systems, he will not be encouraged to aim high. He will be encouraged to, like I said, become an athlete or what have you. And so being able to see, a Black man become president in his lifetime, right, speaks volumes for a 14-year-old. But Anthony, now hearing this conversation that we're having, and again, your perspective is absolutely not wrong. You are now hearing like other views of what some people think Black excellence is. So hearing those things, what does it say to you now? Like, does it change your perception of what Black excellence is? Does it add to it? What does that look like for you?
Well, at first, I wanted to add on what you said about Black excellence is coming from the core. I also wanted to say that also to me, Black excellence is like being yourself at all times, and like not because certain
Mm,
people they switch up around the certain group that they're in, like around the certain people
mm,
that they're in, and like
mm-hmm,
to me, like you always like I feel like you always have to be your true self and like be the person that you aspire to be, like in the future, or be the person that you aspire to be right now. So to me, Black excellence is always just being yourself and being proud of who you are as a
mm-hmm.
person.
Black pride.
Well said. Well said. You better go ahead, little Black man. Well said. I love it. So, really quick, and because I want to make sure that we stay on time. There is a video. I'm only going to show some of it. I encourage everybody. to go and watch this video on your own. I will say that it is not necessarily my view, but she hits on some things that I think is worth considering, talking about. And again, this is just another perspective as to what black excellence is. Give me a second. I wanna rewind it just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. And that's I'm just gonna play a snippet because I do want us to be able to touch on it really quick.
What you got, a VCR?
No, I got no. You said, do I got a VCR? No, I don't. You're funny. No, but I'm using my finger on my mouse pad, and I usually use a mouse, and I hate it. Okay. Now, can y'all hear it now?
Can't hear it at all.
Okay. Oh, let's see. All right. Hello, Angela. All right, let's try and. Oh, and it was frozen on this side. Look at there. Oh, consent. Share screen. Yeah. And okay, let's see if it works this way. I'm gonna share. And yeah, I still can't hear, right?
No. Can't hear it. Can't see it.
That literally oppressed us.
Okay.
That's awful because
thrives today because of the enslavement of our ancestors. And so we are trying so hard to be accepted by whiteness that we are willing to cut off our blackness or put down parts of our culture that aren't seen as aesthetically pleasing or as seen as close to whiteness as possible. And so for me, I have to question a system that requires me to be half of myself or maybe 1/4 of myself or 1/16 of myself to be seen as valuable, worthy, and loved. Have with Black excellence is that it requires you to compete with other people, right? It requires you to compete in a competition that really doesn't exist. Just like the Hunger Games, like how that was manufactured, they were fighting in a big dome and people were watching the infighting, watching people slaughter each other for entertainment. It's the same way with Black excellence because it is capitalism. The powers that be, that majority, they're not ever going to see us as equals. They're not. It's just not going to happen. And yet we are still fighting each other, clamoring for the top spot of being Black excellence, as being the exceptional Black person, being, the wonderful Negro, so to speak, right? And so we're willing to do all these things in the name of whiteness, in the name of aligning ourselves with a system that is oppressive to our people. We're not going to win. The game is rigged. We need to stop playing it. Also, the majority doesn't care. The majority doesn't care. Literally, the founding fathers were not even thinking of Black people as equals.
I'm going to pause it there.
We weren't even seen as whole people, and yet we think.
And like I said, I encourage you all who want to hear the rest of what she says to go and check out the rest of the video. I will share the link for those of you who are interested. In the I'm gonna put it in the chat. Chance says, "I agree. Once we are viewed as equals, it's over. System was built to keep us down, feeling less than."
But once we are
And Tori,
equal, let me ask.
hmm?
Once we are viewed as equals, it's over for who, Chance?
So while she's responding, what did you? She says
It's over for the government. Okay, I can
she
go with that.
the government. Mm-hmm.
You have to you as the
So
governing
hmm?
have to rule.
Yeah.
As the governing party, you have to rule over someone. And once we're viewed as
Mm,
equals, then you're no longer ruling
mm,
over us. That's like you can't have a rich without a poor. You know what I mean?
right.
If everybody is
Mm-hmm.
in power, then you're in power over
Mm-hmm.
what? You're in power over us.
Mm-hmm.
Viewed as equals.
Mm-hmm. Well,
No longer
and technically that's the whole premise behind capitalism, right?
absolutely.
And she said, and they've chosen us to be the poor and the poor minded.
Right,
Mm,
right. But I don't agree with. I agree with Chance. I don't agree with what the young lady was saying in the video at all.
okay. All right.
Because
Elaborate.
who are we competing with? She said we're competing with
Mm,
them. How are we competing with them if we're if we're screaming black excellence? This has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do
mm,
with us.
mm.
We're not competing with them. How could we be? And
So without,
look, in order to be successful in the things and to acquire the things that equal to
mm,
black excellence, that means we're competing with
mm,
them. Those are the things that they don't want us to have. To have those
mm,
things doesn't mean we're competing with them. I don't agree.
mm.
And
But
we're
when would huh? Huh?
she said it.
I'm sorry.
We're in competition within our
In
community.
competition with our community. Mm-hmm.
We are, but
But
we
but
shouldn't be viewed
but
as
right.
competing with each other. We should, because that's why we're the crabs in the barrel, because we're viewing each other as competition instead of viewing each other as inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But like I had like what I was saying earlier from just from that little snippet of what we heard, I feel like um again it goes to what your perception is of black excellence. And so I feel like her argument is that she's looking at it from the place of money, basically. And her she's saying, that we black excellence is us a strive is us striving for um um financial financial power, what have you. How much do you have? Your goal, if your goal is to be a billionaire, then you're being sucked into this capitalism notion, that what's defined as excellence is how much money you have. And that and I think the part when she talks about when she's talking about white supremacy, and again, not having heard her entire video, or not having shared her entire video with everybody. When she talks about white supremacy, I can't help but thinking what she really getting ready to launch into, right, is talking about racism, because racism is built on finances. Racism is built on money and power. And I think that she's basically trying to say is that we're playing into it. And that's why
No,
she doesn't believe in black excellence. But again,
let me.
as I said, I highly recommend that everybody, who is interested, go back and listen to her video in its entirety, because it sounds like an opposing view from what everybody. I just put it in the chat, chance. Let me I can put it on this side. But it does sound like she has an opposing view, huh?
Let me say something real fast. I started out by
Mm-hmm.
saying black excellence is first remembering where you come from, where our people came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if we came from royalty and we were
Yeah.
kings and queens, we were excellent.
Yeah.
That is black excellence. Who were we competing with then? We
Mm-hmm.
weren't competing with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
We were being what we were put here to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So excellence has nothing to do with competing with them, because we were excellent before. Black excellence has everything to do with not conforming to who they say we are and remembering who we are. It has nothing to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Who they say we are. What's the opposite of black excellence? See, the opposite of
I don't have
excellence.
an answer.
But see, look, the opposite of black excellence would be competing with them. They're rich, we're poor. That's competing with them. Remembering who we are is
Mm-hmm.
black excellence. And it has nothing
Mm-hmm.
to do with them, because who we are is who we always were before they even were in existence. We were the
Mm-hmm.
first ones here, black excellence.
So then it's the same thing what Anthony just said about not allowing others to define who you are.
That's right.
Standing being so it's not allowing others to define who you are. That's the first part, but also you going out and finding out who you are for yourself, and now not allowing others to tell you who you are.
That's right. You have to know who you are, because
And
I don't know who we are. And that's why we're not, as a lot of us, we're not as proud as we should be. And that's why we're running
mhm,
around doing things that we're doing,
I
because we are
agree.
viewed as savages and we're acting like savages. We're told that we
I
are.
agree.
But
Mhm,
before that, we weren't
I agree.
savages. We was
Mhm,
royalty. If you actually look at
mhm,
it, they were the savages. We
mhm,
were royal. It's the same thing. It's like when they told us that Jesus is white. Jesus, the Bible describes him as black, but we seen who the savages were. When they were in the caves, they were the savages. We had civilization. We created civilization. We taught them. So what they did with that was to teach us that they created that, and we're the savages. So like he said, it's not who they say that we are. It's who
mhm,
we know.
mhm.
And you have to know. You have to.
So now, can I say this, because you said you referring to they and them, um um
The
because
other.
some people ask who, huh,
Who are they?
who who is they, and who is them.
Who are they? We say, hey, that's a question. That's a question that we need to ask them. Who are you?
Who
You know what
are
I mean?
they?
Yeah.
That's you. Hey.
Who the hell are you to tell us anything about us when we were here
Mhm,
before you?
mhm, mhm. Well, I will say this. The they that the they and them that I refer to today is the 1%.
The
Um,
they that I'm referring to is the ruling class. The
the
ruling
the
class
1%.
making the rules and
Uh, it,
saying who's great and
it,
who's
it,
not.
but the thing about it is it's the 1% because that population, truth be told, is really really small. It
Right,
is only 1%.
right,
Unfortunately, part of the trick is to think that it's so much bigger, and it's not. And when some of us start to realize, right, that percentage is really small, we will wake up, right, and take over our rightful places because
right.
that percentage is really really small. But you know what, Anthony, do you feel like you learned anything today?
Yes, I have. I feel like I've learned some
Yeah.
like insightful things, and also, I've also wanted to add some
Mm-hmm.
things. When I turned off my camera, I was looking for this book. It's a good book. If you haven't read it, I said
Okay.
it's like I recommend it. And on one of the
Okay.
pages,
Well, wait, wait,
um,
wait. Bring the book back. We need to see the book.
oh sorry, it's stamped by Jason Reynolds.
Stamped.
Okay.
Okay.
What's this book about?
It's about
Share
racism.
with-
It's about racism and
It's about
anti-racism.
what?
Racism and anti-racism.
Mm-hmm.
How you can play a part in
Mm-hmm.
either or.
Mm-hmm.
And on one of the pages, it talks about
Mm-hmm.
what's it W.E.D. Du Bois. And to me, I feel like what about him it has somewhat to do with the video that you just watched because he was like he was a black man who mostly sided with like white people like and how black people should be in certain places. And to me, I didn't really like the character in that book because I disagreed with him. And as I said before, and
Mm-hmm.
how black excellence to me is being yourself in all situations and being yourself in all like parties that you're in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what's the word? I feel like being like also black excellence is also about how like what Toria said before. We was royalty. We were kings and queens. And when he said that, it came to mind. It came to somebody came to mind named Mansa Musa, and he was He was like one of the richest black people, and like he was one of the
He
richest
was
black,
he's
like
the
richest
He was
person in the world.
the.
Yeah,
person and
the
Mm-hmm.
rich.
he's the richest person to this
Mm-hmm.
date.
Right. And when I first learned about him, I was like, wow, like the first like one of the
Mm.
richest man was a black person, and now because now it's like the richest people are Eli what's his name uh
Elon,
Elon Musk
Elon Musk.
like Elon Musk, and but he's not black, he's white. So like when I heard about him, I was like, oh, he's black. And I because what I've learned about so far before I learned about him, I was thinking, well, this is a shock. This is a shock to me because I've never heard of like of rich like a rich black man like that. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, when he talked about royalty, I was like, oh, Mansa Musa, because he was a rich
Mm-hmm.
black man, and he was also like somewhat African. And
Mm-hmm.
in the book, it talks about somebody who basically started slavery, and the first place he went to was
Mm-hmm.
Africa. So now that I'm thinking of like, what if the person who started slavery met Mansa Musa? Like, I wonder, like, did he start it because of him, or did he start it like after him, or like after he died, basically?
Mm-hmm.
hmm.
Mm. Look, I'm
Yeah,
so proud right now.
that's a good question.
I'm so proud. Really quick that the book that you are recommending that we read. How'd you come across that book?
In school, it was a school book that I read in class.
So let us elaborate that you don't go to a typical New York City public school,
No, I go to a
right?
charter school. Right.
I'm right. You go to a Kip Sankofa charter school. Big difference because in New York City public school system, you wasn't getting that book, right?
Right.
I'm a product of the New York City public school system, and yeah, we didn't have that book, and nor will we have ever gotten that book. And I don't think that book gonna be in anybody else's public school system, outside of a charter school or a private school. So, kudos to your school, to your school for introducing um to you that book. My recommendation to you is after you read it this time, 10 years from now, I want you to read it again, cover to cover. Because 10 years from now, you will have a different set of lenses on, and it's going to translate different to you. It will be more eye opening each decade that you get older. Um, Chance says, and guess what? We weren't taught in school. Yeah. Oh yes. We I don't think it's a secret anymore. The lack of history, the lack of our history that is taught in our school systems. But that is the purpose of having these conversations. Like I said, my goal is always to educate, um, honestly, to educate and to be educated. So for me, Anthony, you just gave me a book that I need to look up and check out. And so you just taught me something today. And that's why I feel like these conversations on a multi-generational level is necessary. I'm excited about Chance because now because of who her dad is, but she could be like some other, some of her peers, and they hear it, but it go in one ear and out the other. Obviously, what she is hearing, it is staying with her and is resonating with her. And so I commend her for that, because now what she's learning and she's attaining, what have you, she's gonna pass that on to her son, and which hence will put him in a much better place than generations before him. So like I said, these conversations are geared not to bash people, not to put nobody down, not to hold nobody accountable. It's to educate us. It's always to educate us, as well as to anybody else who is willing to listen, and garner the nuggets that are being shared. So anyway, with that being said, I appreciate every last one of you for joining me in this conversation. It has been awesome. I hope that you will come back and join us for another discussion. Chance, you owe me. You owe me a talk. You absolutely owe me. For those of you who don't know, well, I already told you about Anthony, but everybody on this screen, right, is all blood relatives. So look, yeah, I see where it comes from. But our next discussion, and I'm looking for people who would be interested in joining us in that discussion live on the air on camera. Is The topic is, who do they say we are? And specifically, that topic is about um, uh, Black people, and I'll tell you on that in that discussion why I say Black people. But Black people have gone from being from African to slaves to
From
Negroes to
they say we monkeys.
Oh, well, I was gonna leave that out. um,
Include that.
to colored, to Afro American, to Black, to African American, and all those titles, and none of those titles that we come up with, except for maybe African. But nonetheless, we want to have a discussion about all these titles, where they came from, and what's that all about, and ultimately, what do we want to be called? How do we want to be recognized? Does it even matter? How important is it? And so again, that's the subject that we don't really talk about in our community. We are so accepting of the titles that we are given. But yeah, I wanna have that discussion. And so yeah. So if you would like to join us at the next podcast is on April. So it's every other Sunday. So I'm sorry, guys, I forget what that date is. But the next one is April 21st. Live by Facebook and YouTube at 6 p.m. If you would like to be a part of the discussion, you can either leave me a message on YouTube or you can leave me a message on Facebook. If you know me personally, you can text me, call me, whatever you like, and we will. I will make sure that you are part of the discussion. So if there's no other comments, again, Anthony, I appreciate you. You warm my heart. Look, knowing that at 14 years old you are that insightful. Yes, that is off to your mom and your dad. Chance, look, I expected nothing less. I absolutely expected nothing less. And then Tori, yeah, that's look. I knew he had a lot to say, and I appreciate you for making yourself available at the last minute. And I hope this was enjoyable for you as well. And I don't know if you learned anything, but okay, I learned something. So, all right. Everybody, you all have an amazing evening, and I will see you back here on April 21st. And wait a minute. Let me see what Chance said. Okay. And Chance said, she said homeschooling for him to skip out the public school middleman. I know that's right. That's the goal, to pass down our wisdom to our younger generations. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you all are doing an excellent job. All right. Everybody, you all have a blessed night. And I will see you all soon. Tori, what's that you're cooking over there?
Baked chicken wings.
Oh, look at you. All right. Good night, everybody. Unspoken conversations. Your words have power. Our goal is to educate and inspire positive action that will motivate change and understanding. Thank you for joining us.